Ciao a tutti, it's Handa here. If you are new, welcome to my channel. If you are one of my subscribers, welcome back. And yes, I do speak in English in this video because let me remind you, I'm a Turkish teacher of English who lives in Italy. So I was like, why not? Using all the languages that I know, and I just went for it. So expect me to talk to in Italian, in Turkish, in English in my next videos. But for now, today I'm going to mention you how I learned Italian language. If you are ready, let's get started. So first of all, why I started to learn Italian language. I was in Germany and I had so many Italian friends, and I was pretty much curious to understand what they were talking about each other. So I wanted to learn for this reason, and I started to learn the basics such as the days of the week, the months, colors, numbers, small chunks that we use every day. For example, how are you? Good morning, thank you, you're welcome, goodbye. These really small, easy, everyday life expressions. And I was doing all these by speaking and by repeating. And I decided to get myself a notebook. Here it is, I still have it. I decided to get myself a notebook because I know how a person can learn, right? There are three ways. One is audio, and one is visual, and then the other one is kinesthetic. So I think if you use all these three methods, three ways, your learning process can be faster, more permanent, way much better than using only one. Only listening wouldn't help. It would be a small percentage of success for you. So when you write things down, you move your hand, so there is a movement and you see what you write, so there is a visual. And if you read the word, the thing that you write, you hear your own voice, so you combine all the ways and you get the most of learning process, I'd say. So that I got myself this notebook, I wrote the things that I learned down, and then I arrived to the point where I thought that I needed a book because I was really curious. I was interested in this language. I wanted to learn more and more. And of course, what you need to learn a new language is to learn more vocabulary, especially, and then a little bit of grammar, so that you can start to use the language. And you just need to remember, you just need to use the language that you know. I know maybe in your mother tongue or any other language that you know, that you want to talk a lot, you want to say a lot, but when you're learning a new language, remind yourself, you need to use the language that you know. For example, you are talking to someone and you want to say, hi, my favorite color is pink. Okay, maybe your favorite color is not pink, but you remember how to say pink in Italian language, so you use that word itself. Well, just a simple example, but you can use it in your life, I think. Then I got this book, Complete Italian. Well, I got it like 6-7 years ago, but I really liked it. Since I was in Germany, I had to get myself a book from English to Italian. If I was in Turkey, I would get myself something from Turkish to Italian, which really didn't matter for me because I was able to speak in both languages. So you can get any book that you want. I really like this book because it was from beginner to intermediate, and it has 25 units. Well, I didn't study all of them, I know, shame on me, but it helped me a lot, I have to say. And in each unit there were small texts that talk about Italian culture, which also really helped me about learning their culture, because language learning, of course, is not only about the language but also the culture, right? Then I started to use my book with my notebook together, and I went back to Turkey. I was studying at university, so I had to continue my studies, and I decided to find an internship in Italy at that point, because I was in Germany, I had Italian friends, and I was learning Italian. I was hearing and practicing as much as I could, but now I was in Turkey, I didn't hear any Italian language. So I decided to go to Italy and to hear, to be around Italian people, to learn more Italian language, basically. I had this traineeship at an English school for 2 months. I was again on track, trying my best. My brain was on fire, that's for sure. It has been really, really difficult for the first times. And then I got, I was done with the internship and I flew back to Turkey. So at that point, I had to surround myself with the target language, right? Because if I didn't continue, I would forget. I had to continue in some ways. And at that point, I started to consume the media. Music, I listened Italian songs, I watched TV series, Italian movies. Well, I remember I watched Disney movies in Italian, because animations are for kids, right? So the language themselves, it's pretty easy, clear, and simple. It's for kids, so it's the best start if you want to learn any language as well. And it was so much fun, I have to say. I still watch things, of course. I still watch kid movies. They are fun for me. And then I tried to read, but I did something wrong. Now I'm going to share with you so that maybe you don't do it, because you know, when you are learning a new language, there are levels of language. You start from A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. So when you are starting, when you want to learn a new language, you cannot start from A1 and jump right on like B2. It's not possible. You need to go A1, A2, B1, B2. So you need to build up your process, right? It's not possible. So if you just take a novel in Italian, for example, now, like we are talking about a book that Italian people would read, you probably wouldn't understand anything, and you would be probably frustrated that you don't understand anything. So when you start to learn a new language, it's really crucial for you to use the things that's your level. So you understand, you learn, and then you go for another harder level. So you need to have some kind of challenge, even if it is easy, some parts, it's okay. You need to have some challenges, build up, and then continue in this way to your journey. Then I moved to Italy, but it was an unlucky period for me, because right after I moved to Italy, there has been COVID-19 emergency. So we were locked up in the house for 2 months with my husband, and we spoke in English with him because we met in English, so it is natural to us to speak in English. And so I couldn't really communicate with people. I continued to use my book back then. Finally, when the emergency was over, I started to go out, communicate with people, go to supermarket. I started to work. So even if I didn't want to, I had to see Italian. The shop names in the supermarket, the labels are in Italian. Like, it's when you live in the country, it's you have to learn. There's no other way. I mean, even if you don't want to, you see the language in the street, you hear the people speaking Italian, so you grasp something, even if you don't want to, I'd say. So meanwhile, I want to tell you something. You have 4 skills, right? It is writing, reading, listening, and speaking. 2 of them are passive, 2 of them are active ones. And when you are learning a new language, let me tell you, it is essential to start with the passive ones, reading and listening, because if you don't have input, you cannot have output. It is the same, like if you don't read, you cannot write. If you don't listen, you cannot speak. You can think in this way, because when you read and listen, you don't need to produce anything. Your brain just takes the information, see the word, hear the word. But when you need to write, you need to produce the words. When you need to speak, you need to produce the sentences. So think in this way. It is really important to listen and read before you speak, because if you don't know anything, you cannot use it, you cannot activate it. And for me, this was the period where I tried to take all the language that I could. It was really, really difficult. I was looking forward to starting to speak Italian, because I was also really tired not to understand people, and I had a fear, which was like I was afraid to talk, because okay, I was able to talk to people with really simple things, okay, but Italian people are curious, Italian people are talkative usually. So when you say something, they respond you back with a lot of things. And I was afraid of this, because I was able to tell, but I was afraid not to understand what they told me. So for this reason, for some time I stopped doing things, and my husband helped me. I'm really thankful to him. I know it's not so good, because of course you need to use the language yourself to learn. It would be so much faster, I know, but I am really thankful to him that he helped me when I had difficulty, because you don't have to be stressful when you are learning a new language. It was just an illusion for me, probably, because when you are learning the language, you just need to throw yourself in the field, let me tell you, because by making mistakes you learn, and by making mistakes I learn a lot of things. Really, I corrected myself, people corrected me, I repeated the same mistakes, but I learned eventually. So there's nothing bad about it. I mean, you know already one language, that your mother tongue, and you are trying to learn, improve another new language, which is amazing. So just tap on your shoulders and just continue to do so, I'd say. So that was it for my Italian language learning journey, which is still continuing. As I told before, it hasn't been easy, but it is really fun, and it really makes me feel good to be able to talk to Italian people in Italian language, to talk another new language. I'm hoping that I can continue to learn different languages again, but I hope it helped you, this video, so you got some help from me. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me, and leave a comment to me. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao!